No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, we are back from New York City. A fun couple of days covering the Heisman Trophy presentation, and there was the foreshadowing. Unfortunately, Travis Hunter, his graphic plastered all over Times Square, and he ends up victorious in the Heisman Trophy ceremony on Saturday night. But great opportunity, great experience for Ashton Jeanty, and I know excited to move forward and focus on the Fiesta Bowl and what's ahead for this football team. But we do have a Heisman Trophy voter. I do want to spend part of the show today kind of just looking back at the results and things and then spin it forward. But Mike Prater, host of Prater in the Ball Game, weekdays 3 to 6, KTIK The Ticket, joins us for his regularly scheduled Monday appearance. Mike, how we doing?
Good, BJ. Welcome back. Did you just fly in like 20 minutes ago?
I got about 4 hours of sleep, so this is not. I may be about 80% today, but I'll give you the best I got.
That's 80% of you coming back from New York City, and the Heisman Trophy weekend is perfectly spectacular. So I know that was cool. You know, I'd love to just grill you for the next half hour, but let's dive into Ashton Jeanty and his weekend. I think it was a really cool experience for you and a really cool experience for him, and I can't wait to get after it today, bud.
Yes, appreciate everybody that was able to help make it happen, all of our sponsors, all of our subscribers. As you can imagine, it wasn't a cheap trip, but was, I think, worth it. I think I had 3 tweets, by the way, Mike, that went over 1 million views. So some stuff was kind of taken off, and so had a fun time. It was cool, and one of those things to say you did and add the credential to the list of all your media credentials, you know, and just say it was something cool to cover and see, and yeah, it was very well done, and wish it was in Vegas or somewhere a little closer than New York City. Yesterday was a long day, man. We didn't leave. Unfortunately, when you're trying to save money and buy different options and things, it sounded better to stay the day in New York and come back last night. And I would have paid $1,000 to switch my flight, but there was literally not a single flight available yesterday. So we left at 5:00. I watched a little football. That was actually that might have been worth the trip itself, Mike Prater. I found a little local pub just about a block off Times Square, and they had the Jets game and the Giants game on at the same time, and all the New York locals watching their teams struggle, 2, 3, and 10 teams or whatever it was. That may have been worth it by itself. But fun trip. I think we talked to Ashton Jeanty more in these 2 days than I have in his entire Boise State career. So kudos to Boise State and Chris Kutz and everybody over there. And Ashton was very generous with his time. Even we're going to hear from him in a minute, even in defeat after coming back after a long couple of days and being disappointed that he got second, he still gave me and Jay Tuss almost 10 minutes. So overall, I thought Ashton said all the right stuff, had a great showing. And I thought that, aside from not winning it, I don't think how he handled himself, all the PR that Boise State got, everything, again, in a perfect world, he wins it. But other than that, I think it went about as well as it could have.
I don't care what the situation is. Anytime you're in a brand new environment, a brand new situation, a brand new element, and you handle it as well as Ashton Jeanty did, are you kidding me? It was spectacular the way he handled himself. Kudos to him and his parents and his coaches and the communication staff that kind of put all the polish on this beautiful weekend for Ashton Jeanty. My number one takeaway, and I know we're going to dive into this, is how disappointed he was. And not in a negative sort of way. It was more of an inspiring sort of way. But that dude, literally, and you know what? I'm not surprised, but the way he acted and the power that was coming from his mouth and the words that he was saying, the fact that he was so disappointed in not winning this was inspiring to me. So I thought it was really cool. He handled himself so gracefully and so wonderfully, and it's just kind of a testament to who Ashton Jeanty is on and off the football field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll show some B-roll while we're talking here, Mike. But a lot made that he was the only one on Friday wearing his team gear. It was pretty cool to see him in the and I didn't, I thought it was notable, but I didn't think it would take off the way it did. Here he is getting his watch on Friday afternoon. So he's going back with some hardware. He still gets the watch. And, then here he is right before the ceremony. And look at that suit, man. He a very nice looking suit and love the color there. And still, he may not have won this thing, but to be there on the stage and have these photos for the rest of his life. And it was just a surreal experience for me to see this, but I'm sure for Boise State fans watching, for everybody there, just to see a Boise State running back standing, posing for pictures behind the Heisman Trophy. It was, you throw in the Doak Walker, you throw in the Maxwell Awards and a second place finish in the Heisman Trophy. And, he was on more ballots than Travis Hunter, too. And so he ended up getting the third highest percentage of votes ever, I believe, Mike Prater. Travis Hunter was fourth. So, again, I know there's no consolation prize, but he had a historic weekend any way you look at it.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, this was almost perfect. This was absolutely almost perfect, other than the fact that he could have won it. We knew that the odds coming in were very, very long, but he closed that gap emotionally. He closed that gap physically based on what he did on the football field in his last game. And there was a lot of stuff going around over the weekend. He's the People's Heisman Trophy winner, and there's a lot to be said for that. 70% of the fans vote? That was really cool. They've been doing, as you know, they've been doing the Heisman Trophy for 90 years. And maybe this is part of the bittersweetness, but nobody has ever finished second with as many votes as he has. This was a two-person race, and only two people were in this race, and it was very, very close up until the end. No Heisman Trophy winner has ever finished second with 2,000 points before in voting total. So there's a lot to be proud of here. Yeah, I'm sure he would have liked to have hauled that 45-pound trophy home, but the odds were against him. Ashton Jeanty was not against himself, and it was a beautiful weekend for him.
One of the I don't know if cool's the right word, but in the room there, they had the box and it was sealed. And then the moment, literally the second they announced Travis Hunter as the winner, they had the little packet here of 7-page document from Deloitte. It was, under lock and key. And but somebody knew this. Somebody had to print it out. Somebody knew about all this. There was some work that went into this. So actually, when you think about it, we know that Brett McMurphy broke, that SMU was going to make the playoff over Alabama right before that show started. It is, you might know better than me, the process and all this, but it is pretty crazy that this never leaks out, or at least didn't leak out, because somebody had to type all these documents and charts up, and maybe not very many people knew, but somebody knew. And it was interesting to look at the different voting. And I'd love to talk to the 56 people, I think it was, that didn't think Jeanty was even worthy of being third on their ballot. But any other just thoughts on the way it shook out? And we have the the breakdown of the voters from different areas of the country and all that. But I thought the one way Jeanty might have a chance, which proved to kind of be the case, was if he was first, maybe there'd be some that would have Hunter third or even off their ballot. And I think that's would have maybe been the way, because you get 3 points for first, 1 point for third, but just couldn't overcome the 500 plus first place votes when it was all said and done.
Yeah, no, I mean, the voting, he won the West. There's no doubt about that. And I know that, in terms of the voting overall numbers, it certainly kind of favored him other than that final total. So, yeah, I thought it worked out great. There was what you said, 53 some that didn't have Ashton Jeanty on a ballot. I would imagine, hopefully, that there was there's a couple of idiots out there, but
I think there were 20 that didn't turn them in or something. Yeah.
To say there's probably at least half of that, or at least close to that didn't even vote. And if you have a Heisman Trophy vote, you better be in the hospital fighting to not get your leg amputated, not to vote. But maybe some of these guys were older and some of the guys didn't get it done or whatever. So that's the case. But the people that didn't put it, now I had Travis Hunter third on my ballot, and I totally defend my ballot, and I believe strongly in my ballot. But I think there was only like 55 people out of 930 voters that had Travis Hunter third. So, not a lot of people put Travis Hunter third. That certainly helped, the overall math. But I thought outside of losing it, it was closer than we thought, although we expected it to be closer than the odds makers had it, and it was.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I do want to hear from Ashton Jeanty here in a second. I think it was 56 for. I'm trying to find the exact number, maybe 46 that didn't have him on the ballot. And you're right. I think there were 20 something that didn't even turn it in. So maybe there were about 25 people that, and it is what it is. There's people in the, East that may have had Ward and Gabriel and Hunter. I mean, there was probably a few, but either way, finishes second. And the Maxwell that I mentioned got that on Thursday night. The Doak Walker, I mean, the two single most prestigious awards that a Boise State football player has ever taken home. And aside from like a national championship for another athlete, it's probably right up there. And just with the importance that football has of any individual award that any Boise State athlete has probably gotten. I don't know all of the track and field and some of those. I know there's national champions. That's certainly high up on the list. But in terms of a award given to you, not something that was just won on the field, this has got to be up there in terms of that. And you're right, though. He was very graceful, I guess, in defeat. Let's hear a little brief opening statement from Ashton Jeanty. This is, within 30 minutes of finding out he didn't win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night.
Ashton, how you feeling right now, man?
Yeah, I wasn't, obviously, it wasn't the result I was hoping for, but, I kind of just had to take a moment, debrief, and just appreciate the fact that I was even here. The fact that I was here is going to be so inspiring to many. It's very hard, to reach this status, to be a finalist, as it is from any school, but from a Group of Five school, it makes it that much more challenging. So I'm proud of being here today.
A little perspective. Last year, Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy, and he was on about 90% of the ballots. You were on over 95% of the ballots, which is actually more than Travis Hunter was on. You might not have got the support that you needed, but what does that type of support mean to you?
It means a lot. It means, I guess maybe not the right people whose votes, I don't even understand how it all works, honestly, at this point. But no, I just think that just shows how many people, support me. They can recognize not only the great athlete that I am, but, the great person. So that's awesome.
Something that's a little.
You can watch the rest of that interview. Some great stuff, and a little further on, he just talked about the fact that he really truly believed he was going to win that, and he thought he deserved to win that, Mike Prater. And obviously, you got to love the confidence. I mean, there was about 2 hours before the ceremony, they did a press conference, and they asked everybody to go down the line and say what they did the night before. And he came out and said, "I practiced my speech, so when I get up there, I know what to say," or something, very, very confidently. And some people kind of took that the wrong way and blew that up on social media and all that. But he truly believed he deserved to win it. And it's unfortunate that in 93, 94 years out of 100, that's a season that would have won it. But he just fell into the, once in a generational, whatever their phrase they're using about Travis Hunter and the PR. I'm not saying Travis Hunter didn't deserve it, but I do think it was aided a little by the Deion Sanders PR train and the hype. And someone even said it in the chat here. Once they saw the seating arrangement, they knew it was done. And there was Deion Sanders right there in the front row with Lil Wayne. I mean, the whole thing about went like we probably thought it would.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you could see this coming. You really could. And that's kind of part of the pre-Heisman Trophy ceremony forecasting and predictions that went on out there, myself included, saying that this was over. It's just really hard to overcome that. On one side, they benefited from the fact that there was no dominant Power 5 quarterback. That absolutely played into both of these guys' factor. And then it's also impossible just to kind of run into the PR and the hype machine of Deion Sanders. I want to say something real quick here, and in no way, shape, or form does this bash on Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter a lot. I know that's not really popular here in this town. I like his bravado. I like his confidence. I like his swagger. I like the way he plays football. I think he's a good human being based on everything that you read, and I can't wait to watch him in the future. But there's something different when Ashton Jeanty stands up behind a microphone on a podium and said, I'm a great athlete. I practiced my speech last night. I'm going to be a wonderful professional athlete that's going to go off and do great things. Ashton Jeanty is a massive, massive believer in himself. Travis Hunter does the same thing, and unless you're a Colorado Buffaloes fan, he gets beat up for it universally because of the way it comes off. That smile, as much as I love him, is just a little bit smug, and his attitude based on the Deion stuff is just a little bit, you kind of wonder how genuine it is. Ashton Jeanty pulls off the confidence. Ashton Jeanty pulls off the braggadocious kind of element that you need to be a high-profile athlete, and he does it in a sincere way. When he says, I'm a great athlete, you believe it. It kind of hits you in the heart, and it's warming, and it's a little bit different. So I think he's got that polish, that confidence, and it's really, really beautiful to watch, and that's going to serve him really well moving forward.
Yeah, there was one. Somebody asked something about Travis Hunter, and he did have a quote, I'm obsessed with myself, he said.
But Ashton, if Ashton Jeanty said that, I think he would say it sincerely and warmth. It wouldn't surprise me if he said that. He should say that. He can say that. And he pulls it off. Maybe it's that smile that's just a little bit more warm and genuine, at least to me, than Travis Hunter's. I don't want to bash Travis Hunter, but Ashton Jeanty can pull off confidence and bravado better than anybody I've seen in a long time, maybe better than anybody I've ever seen, period.
Well, just to show you the whole media, whatever. I mean, I'm walking in Times Square on Sunday, Mike Prater, and I see this come across there's a screen here. Jeanty should have walked away with Heisman. First of all, he told that to two people, me and Jay Tusk. And it turns out, I guess, the Associated Press wrote some article, or it ended up being a headline on ESPN.com. Jeanty should have walked away with Heisman. But also, that was like taking a little out of context. That looks like he's either ticked off or mad. If you actually watched the interview that he did, he was very, he personally, I don't know. I thought he came off as remorseful, like, I thought I should have walked away with it, but I didn't think it was like I got robbed, I should have won this. And that quote right there that they kind of pulled out and made an article about, first of all, I always love the old reporters. Well, he told two people. It could have been a little more specific and who they give credit to, but it is what it is. But I guess me and Jay Tusk can kind of say we made it to Times Square, kind of. They used our quote, at least, Mike.
Nice. Very nice. And again, it really is. You see that up there, and if you know the context, it works for Ashton Jeanty, and it doesn't always work for Travis Hunter. So I just thought that was a pretty cool part of the moment. And I love when Ashton Jeanty talks about himself. I love when Ashton Jeanty brags about himself. There isn't a pretentious bone in that dude's body, but you got to have the confidence. There's 11,300 college football players on scholarship at the FBS level. And that dude just finished number 2 and broke all kinds of ceilings and all kinds of barriers as a group of 5 running back, getting into the Heisman final ceremony. And then with all those stats about the people's votes and 95 this and 2,000 plus points, Ashton Jeanty just pulled off a miracle of miracles this weekend. He just missed it by that much. And that's all it really came down to.
All right, a couple other things I want to get to, Mike. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors real quick, but we do have a cool announcement about an event coming up down at the Fiesta Bowl. If folks are looking to find something to do, I keep getting, BJ, what are you getting? What's BNN doing? What are you doing? You got to do something. Well, we got a cool event for you. I'll tell you about it in a minute. And then also I want to play a quote from Jeremiah Dickey, something that he mentioned when I talked to him on Saturday as well. But Western Collective, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer, our studio sponsor. Check them out. They're having a watch party for the Fiesta Bowl. So if you're not going to the Fiesta Bowl, make plans to go to the brewery in Garden City and support the Horseshoe Collective and our studio sponsor, Western Collective. And they're going to have all kinds of great food and drink specials, and a portion of the proceeds will go to benefit the Horseshoe Collective, which this is a topic maybe for later on or a different day, Prater, but sure sounds like the portals that come a calling. As you can expect, the phone's ringing in Boise, Idaho, and they're trying to fend off schools left and right for the Cage Caseys of the world, I think. And so it shouldn't be a surprise, but I think that donating to the Horseshoe Collective would be a good idea right about now. So Western Collective, check out our studio sponsor, our title sponsor, roepaint.com, roepaint.com. Andy Rowe's going to join us in about 20 minutes. Our title sponsor, and they're back for another year. We appreciate Andy and company, and check them out. All your painting needs, and especially those concrete coatings at roepaint.com. ICCU, Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com, and big win for the Broncos over St. Mary's on Saturday. We'll talk about that later as well, but check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union. And Matt Bauscher Real Estate, number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason, is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. No home is too big or small for Matt and his team. They're ready to help you out. And when you buy from Matt, you're going to get to know everybody in that picture because it's just a great process, and no stone goes unturned with Matt Bauscher. Check them out online at Bauscher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets, they've got locations across the Treasure Valley, 29, I think, overall in the surrounding states. So check them out. ShopRidleys.com, and you can save up to 40% off at the checkout line using their Skip app. You can do that at ShopRidleys.com. All right, I do want to mention this, Mike Prater. We have a cool event coming up. I think this is right up John Mallory's alley, by the way. So we gotta get Johnny involved in this somehow. But all right, here's what we got going on. I wanted to get this out there. So this is going to be Monday, December 30th. Monday, December 30th. How about some horse racing, Mike Prater? Turf Paradise Racetrack in Phoenix. It's America's Horse Racing Championship held the day before the Fiesta Bowl. And how about this? They are painting the turf blue. Literally, it's going to be the first time ever they're having a race called the Bronco Nation Stakes, and it's history in the making. For the first time ever in thoroughbred racing, horses will be running on a blue turf in honor of Boise State, and BNN's getting involved in this. There is going to be a beer garden, food, drinks, betting stations. There's going to be DJs, and the cool part is there's going to be meet and greets with NFL players, Boise State alums. I know Austin Pettis, Shea McClellan already confirmed for this. They're working on getting the cheerleaders, the mascots, and there's going to be the Bronco Nation Stakes, which I get to, for some reason, be in the winner's circle to help present the trophy. We got to get Mike Prater and John Mallory in there as well. But there's different options. There's there's different price points. There's a VIP area that includes food and drink. And if you do the VIP one, how about this? You get to hang out with Dr. J, who is one. Dr. J is going to be there. Some other NFL legends that have bought into this horse racing business. It's a team horse racing. It's team thoroughbred racing. It's a cool concept. And there's the Philadelphia Stallions owner is Dr. J, and he's going to be there. So they're working on getting some more players involved. But if you want the day before the game, if you're looking for something to do in the afternoon and you want to hang out and watch some horse racing and just hang out with Boise State fans, and it's going to be a really cool experience, and we may do a live show out there, but there's going to be a lot going on. So that's at Turf Paradise on Monday. There's a link to buy tickets. If you use the promo code BNN20, you get 20% off, and I believe it's $30. So the 20% off brings it down to like $24. So not bad at all. So for about $20, you get to go hang out, see some other Boise State fans. I believe the official Boise State pep rally is like right after this. So you can come to the horse racing for a couple hours, then go down and watch the pep rally. So if you're looking for something to do the day before the game, we got you covered. I'll be out there. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, you get to watch the first ever race on a blue turf. I will drop the link while we're talking here, Mike, but that should be pretty cool for folks that are interested.
Wow, that is pretty cool. So they're very good information. I know some of those folks have reached out to us as Idaho Sports Talk as well, and maybe we'll jump on board and put together some packages with you and do a combo thing. We're Idaho Sports Talk will be down. I know you're going to be down there for a whole week as well. So the blue turf, the Bronco Nation Stakes, Dr. J, couple of former Boise State greats. That sounds like a pretty good crock pot for a lot of fun on that Monday, just right there before the Fiesta Bowl. So very cool deal, BJ.
I just dropped the link in the chat. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, the ticket link should be in there. Copy that, get your tickets. And again, you get 20% off if you use the promo code BNN. I believe it's BNN or BNN20. Just see which one works, BNN or BNN20. They also have a golf tournament the day before. If you're interested in that too, those tickets are available on there. You can let me know. But where everybody that does the tournament gets to play a hole with Dr. J. That'd be a pretty cool experience too. So if you're interested, looking for something to do, we'll tell you more about it. But hang out with some Boise State fans, mingle with some former players the day before the Fiesta Bowl. That will be going on. real briefly, like, is there any concern at all with the TCU AD opening and Jeremiah Dickey, Mike Prater?
I made a note of it. I made a note of it. I'm not sure how much of a fit that is. And I think right now anything is possible. The one thing I was thinking about over the weekend was, and you and I probably both need to follow up unless you know something that I haven't known. Jeremiah Dickey still hasn't even signed his contract, or at least they certainly haven't announced it. It hasn't gone before the state board. They certainly haven't put out a press release that he's signed it. I don't think it's anything of an issue. There was a gray area when he accepted to the terms of his new contract, but and I know he had some concerns behind the scenes and all that stuff was trying to be figured out. So no, but I certainly made a note of it, and we're going to keep an eye on it. And I don't think it's like the Houston one where you really have to start worrying, and that one got pretty close, but not really. So yeah, let's put it on the list. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's kind of shore up and tidy up why Jeremiah Dickey hasn't publicly announced signing a contract. And if he has signed the contract, again, I don't think it's even gone to the state board for complete finalization. So we'll tidy that sucker up and get down to that. But yeah, keep an eye on it. But I don't think you have to be too concerned for it. Seems like Jeremiah Dickey's got a lot of stuff going on here at Boise State, and he's very inspired by what's going on at Boise State. I think it's going to take more than that just for him to leave.
We interviewed Saturday morning. We did a special Bronco Nation News live show Saturday morning. If you missed that show, go back and watch it. But Spencer Danielson and Jeremiah Dickey both came on live in advance of the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And there's been a lot of talk about whether it be a Ring of Honor, whether it be a statue area, whether it be, some sort of updating the Hall of Fame. That's kind of, I've come back a little bit with all this Jeanty talk in terms of, how do they honor his legacy and things like that. So I had a chance to ask Jeremiah Dickey about that on Saturday. In terms of whether it's improving the Hall of Fame or doing something in terms of a wall of a Ring of Honor, something. What can you say in terms of, have there been any kind of early discussions, or is that a hope of yours, even if it's 5-10 years down the road, to do something to honor some of the all-time greats here?
It's not a hope. It's going to get done. We actually created a committee. Cody and Nate and Coots and many others on our team are a part of that. And, we have a lot of great Broncos, and that's not taking anything away from Ashton. Ashton absolutely deserves, whatever we end up doing for him. But we also have a lot of great coaches and, people like Coach Pete and those Fiesta Bowl teams. I've been very clear. I don't want to forget the past. I just don't want to live in it. And now with this new memory and the North End Zone facility and how I expect that to domino into the east side of the stadium, and we need to plan the work the plan. I want to have a specific process. And what does that look like? I've gotten a number of emails and social media posts, and, there's a number of people that probably deserve a statue and deserve a ring honor or a number retired. I want to do it the right way. I want to set something up that becomes a foundation for future decisions. And that's from everything to retiring those jerseys, like I said, or putting a name on a court or a field, or, and this is across all 18 sport programs. We have some phenomenal student athletes that represented us. And it's important. When we say once a Bronco, always a Bronco, we want to make sure we recognize it. So I promised the Bronco Nation, we are working on it. It is a process. I'm not going to just make a shoot from the hip and make a decision of, all right, next year we're going to have a statue. You look at Kellen Moore, love the guy and is having an unbelievable season this year. And he's deserving. And so there's so many others that go into that, and we want to recognize them appropriately.
People in the chat are saying you may need to expand the trophy case for the Fiesta Bowl.
That's right.
You got to get room for a fourth in there.
Well, we're doing some stuff for the Hall of Fame, and if you've been in there recently, you've seen some upgrades from carpets to screens to, it's a process. We don't have what everyone else has, and so we're being very strategic and prioritizing some of these things, and we need to do a refresh in there. Absolutely. And we also have a lot of offices in there now.
Yeah.
And so, and then we're doing some cool things, from a merchandise standpoint. So you're going to see some, it's going to look different. And the goal every year is for what Bronco Nation sees to be different. I want them to come in and see refreshed looks, and we're going to continue to chop wood.
There you go, Mike Prater. I thought that was just an interesting quote there. And I know under Kurt Absey, I believe it was, at one point they had a program where you could buy a brick in front, and then they were going to use that to redo the Hall of Fame completely. I know that part never happened. I still think for a school that has so much history, that they could do a much better job in terms of the Hall of Fame. And I mean, you should walk in that Hall of Fame and they should have the Fiesta Bowls, all playing. They should have a different display for each Fiesta Bowl, not all of them in the same one. And they should have a TV playing that first Fiesta Bowl over and over again. And they should have a interactive touch screen where you can touch this and get the history of the blue and touch this. There's so much more they could do. And I know Jeremiah Dickey has a ton on his plate. But whether, in front of the Hall of Fame, whether it's like a little courtyard area that has, 10 statues or whatever, or small things that people can go up and read the plaque about those people, maybe all around the Lyle Smith one, or whether they go to the Ring of Honor type thing, something has to be done. And it sounds like, maybe Jeanty is helped pick up the pace on that a little bit, but it sounds like something at least is in the works, and that's long overdue in my opinion.
It's Jeremiah Dickey's job to look at the big picture here, and his answer was perfect. I missed that clip, so I thank you for playing that. In terms of, it's not a hope, it's going to happen. That's really cool. The Hall of Fame building has become a little bit stale. I mean, it has, and it's really cool in there, and there's a lot of things to play with. And Jeremiah Dickey's had a lot of different priorities, infrastructure all the way to stuff that's really important. But that Hall of Fame building has become a little bit stale. Guys, in certain cases, you can't overthink it, though. And I saw something on social media over the weekend that was absolutely perfect. And I know the Ring of Honor thing has been thrown out there. I mean, they're not going to retire jerseys and numbers. I don't like that idea, because down the road, you just have to have all those numbers. But somebody put out a social media graphic, and maybe it was just Joe Blow fan. You have 11 Kellen Moore and 2 Ashton Jeanty on the facade of the press box of the Stickles Sky Center. Big giant letters, big giant words, big giant numbers. And it's just right there, center, right there in the middle of it. 11 Kellen Moore, 2 Ashton Jeanty. Call it whatever you want, Ring of Honor, whatever. Just slap those names and those numbers up there and make that simple, make that happen. Now, you got to make it different in terms of, you got to do it on a weekend where maybe both of them can come back while there's 37,000 people in that building, and have some kind of a party, some kind of a celebration. But maybe just something as simple as that. Let's get that done. And then let's worry about some of those other particulars, those very important particulars down the road. But I'd love to see a quasi Ring of Honor with facades, numbers, and names on the side of that Stickles Sky Center.
Yeah, you can still make some sort of Ring of Honor without actually, quote unquote, retiring the number. I mean, Kansas basketball would have no numbers left if they did that, but they've got hanging from the rafters, Danny Manning, it says Manning 25, Chamberlain 13. I mean, you can still give them that without actually retiring the number. And that's something that, needs to happen, frankly, for basketball as well. I know they don't own the arena or whatever, which makes it a little tougher, but but it sounds like they're already working on some ideas and something they might do at some point. And I agree. I mean, I think Jeanty maybe has sped up the thinking a little on that, but that's going to happen. And I think that, that's good that they're going to go in that direction and do that.
That's cool. That's very cool. I love that soundbite.
I want to thank a couple more sponsors real quick, and then I want to get into just moving forward here, Mike Prater, in terms of this week. They're going to practice 3 times. I do have a quote from Spencer Danielson on Malachi Nelson. I wanted to play that and get your thought on that here momentarily as well. But I want to thank Snake River Pool and Spa, thespateam.com. Check them out, Snake River Pool and Spa, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team, whether it's a spa for the back patio, a sauna, pool table for your game room. They got you covered. Check them out online at thespateam.com. It's snowing outside, Mike Prater. I hope everybody has their all-wheel drive vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise. You can go online, view their full inventory at lithiafordboise.com. Do your research, the specifications, everything you're looking for, and then pick the 2 or 3 you're deciding between. Go in, test drive them, and makes the process much easier if you can do the research ahead of time. But that weather is getting rough, and you need to have that 4-wheel drive vehicle like the Rains family. We've got our F-150 from Lithia. So do 6 student athletes from Boise State, some coaches, some administrators. They're one of the biggest supporters of Boise State athletics. Return the favor. That next car or truck purchase, make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, they are hiring. If you're looking for a job, a locally owned Taco Bell location in the Treasure Valley is hiring. The Treasure Valley SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. They are back for another year, Mike Prater, and we appreciate them. So check them out online, TacoBellWorks.com, and they're giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to the endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball team. You can find more information on that as well at TacoBellWorks.com. Transportation compliance service, transcomservice.com. Get into the trucking industry, transcomservice.com. Every step of the way, DOT overweight, all the permits and things you need. It's a local company helping folks all over the world. So if you're looking for a career change, how about transportation compliance service? I think I deserve part of this, Mike Prater, but Spencer Danielson does as well. I think the Blue and Orange store now selling the Please Count Us Out shirts, the Fiesta Bowl gear. They are now in the store. So if you're in the Boise area, the Boise Town Square Mall, Mall. Just go to the second floor right there next to the Pro Image shop. You can go in by the Kohl's entrance, and I highly, highly recommend the Fiesta Bowl gear. I'll be heading there to buy some Christmas presents at some point this week for folks. And the Please Count Us Out shirts, the phrase that Spencer Danielson used in that Fiesta Bowl press conference that I made the clip and put it on social media, and it kind of took off a little bit, and Travis Hawks turned it into a t-shirt, orange, blue, and black, but the color is orange, I believe fans are supposed to wear for the Fiesta Bowl. But please count us out, Mike Prater, the kind of mantra that Boise State's taken with them into the Fiesta Bowl here, and that looks like a pretty cool shirt.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm just glad that I don't have to wear orange to the game itself because I don't look good in orange. And I thank goodness some people do look good in orange. And that's a cool phrase. That's a cool T-shirt. Nicely done, BJ.
And I want to play a video here in a second. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 20 years. We appreciate Signature Roofing, one of our sponsors here at BNN. And again, whether it's a re-roof or repair, an inspection, free estimate, mysignatureroofing.com. Check them out, My Signature Roofing. They're a sponsor of our voicemail inbox here. So if you have a voicemail, they can help you out. They can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show. But if you have a roofing need, they can help you out at mysignatureroofing.com. And Mike Prater, they have an NIL deal with RJ Keene as part of their deal with My Signature Roofing. And I wanted to play this video from RJ Keene.
Today we're going to be covering our community by giving away 2 brand new MacBooks. Come with me to surprise 2 random students during stressful holidays, stressful finals week, and Merry Christmas. Today we're surprising people for the holidays. Can I surprise you?
Sure.
You said you need a new computer? Let's get her one.
This isn't a joke.
No, this is not a joke. I promise. We just want to surprise people and make their holidays a little extra special.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So sweet. I'm so confused.
What's your name?
Hudson.
Hudson, I heard you're in need of a new computer.
I suppose so.
What are you doing for the holidays?
I'm going home for the holidays and going to more than likely spend my time with my family.
Can Christmas come early for you? Here you go, brother. Brand new MacBook.
That's nice.
There you go. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Just made 2 people's holidays, and I think it was an amazing job. We had one person crying, another girl that doesn't have a good computer at all. I think it was a wonderful day. Merry Christmas.
There you go. My Signature Roofing, just really good people. They do a lot more than this. They don't take any kind of credit for, but giving 2 random students MacBook Pros for the holidays, and appreciate Joel and Watson, the whole crew over there at My Signature Roofing. Their Signature Roofing does a tremendous job, and there's more stuff like that on the horizon in terms of helping out some folks in need. But 2 random students getting a MacBook from RJ Keene there.
RJ Keene is the perfect ambassador. That guy would be the skinniest Santa Claus in the history of Santa Clauses, but he'd be one hell of a Santa Claus. That was really cool, man. I had not seen that before, and good for those guys. Good for putting all that together. That was pretty cool.
And by the way, RJ Keene, he got the start against St. Mary's. He was in the starting lineup, and they got a big win against St. Mary's. I think we're actually going to talk to him today before the game tomorrow against Texas Southern. But they had the huge win against St. Mary's, and shout out RJ Keene. He had a couple, he doesn't score the most points on the team, obviously, but you just watch a game, and he has just found this role. I mean, even in overtime, there was 2 huge rebounds he went in there and got, and one was against a much bigger guy. Like, he just makes winning plays, and he may not be in the starting lineup for his points, and we'll see if he stays in there, but he gives them a spark, and Leon Rice gave him a shot, and he took advantage of it, and they got a huge win against St. Mary's that I'll talk about a little later as well. But Mike, now it's quote-unquote game week for Penn State, SMU, and Boise State will practice 3 times this week. Spencer Danielson told us they'll practice 3 times. I believe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then one day will be a Penn State practice. One day will be an SMU practice, essentially with just some light game plan type stuff of what to expect from them. And then they'll watch that game and then lock in on who they're playing Saturday. But pretty crazy that Boise State is the team propping their feet up on this week and waiting to see who they're going to play.
Can you imagine if Boise State had to play this weekend, how fast of a turnaround? It's kind of nice. When you're playing a football season, that bowl season was always kind of weird. It seemed like it took forever. This is going to happen so stinking fast, guys. Don't blink, because the football season, the postseason is going to go away unless Boise State goes on this monster 3-game run. But it's cool that they're back in practice. 3 practices this week. Working on both. We got the SMU Penn State game first thing Saturday morning, And then after that, guys, it's on. It's on in terms of getting ready for the Fiesta Bowl. Throw in a couple of days of holiday vacation, and there is no time for rest here. Now, Spencer Danielson behind the scenes, outside of a trip to New York, is grinding in terms of this roster. The roster retention part, as you pointed out, has way started already in terms of trying to keep this roster together. That's how Spencer Danielson won this current season, is by winning the offseason last year, and the offseason for next year starts already right now. So it's a very, very important time for Spencer Danielson.
And don't forget, the transfer portal does stay open, I believe, 5 days after you play. So even if the portal, quote unquote, closes, the Fiesta Bowl is the 31st, players would still have, 4 or 5 days after the Fiesta Bowl if they wanted to transfer. So
that's a rule. I had not heard that. That's a rule?
I believe so. It's if you play a later game, you get 5 days. So if you're in the national championship game, you would still get 5 days, to transfer after that.
Okay, because the transfer portal closes on December 28th, but if there's that kind of qualifier, that changes the game for a lot of people, and that makes me surprised then that, why wouldn't Malachi Nelson want to stick around? Maybe he just wanted to get a jump on where he's going to go next year, but to stick around and be the backup. If you have an opportunity to stick around and go for this championship run and play in a CFP, and you got that 5-day window afterwards, that's interesting. That's a new development for me, and certainly changes the game for some people, I would think.
I'll have to triple check that. There's a very good chance I'm usually wrong, but I believe it is 5 days after you play. So because I think that would kind of be unfair to the players that I'm trying to Google it here. Well, I'll have to look into that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, Mike Prater, that you get an extra 5 days after you play. Otherwise, Boise State would be fine. We'll look into that. But Malachi Nelson is gone, and the first comments on him leaving from Spencer Danielson came on Saturday on Bronco Nation News. Expect him to be around for the Fiesta Bowl. What's the quarterback depth looking like now?
Yeah, I don't. I wish Malachi nothing but the best. We had great conversations. He is a great young man. He wants to go somewhere and play, and I completely get that. And I told him the same thing. I'm gonna help you, Malachi, any way I can. He's not gonna be a part of the Fiesta Bowl prep. And we're working through a plan of who's going to be the number 2 and 3 quarterback, and we'll work through that.
So, as expected, Malachi Nelson is gone, and I think part of that, Mike Prater, him wanting to leave now, is for quarterbacks, especially. Like, he's got to find a school. If all the schools get their guys, and he's too late in the process. He committed, I think, in mid-January it was, to Boise State, or early January last time. Because again, you just have to enter the portal. You don't have to pick your new school by then. But quarterbacks, as you know, Mike, there's if schools are taking one transfer quarterback, I think this one, he's got to find a spot where he knows he is going to play. I don't think he's going to a spot where he has to compete, for a third straight time and maybe not get it. So he felt like now was the time he needed to get a head start on finding a spot for him. And I wonder about Steve Cooper going to UCF, if that'll be an option for him. But I don't know what their quarterback depth situation is, but it's disappointing it didn't work out here. He had a lot of hype. It was obvious from the start that Dirk Cutter favored Maddox Madsen, and that never wavered. And I think that, some would disagree or whatever, the haters, but I think they made the right choice, at least for now. You're in the CFP, so it's hard to say you screwed that up by going with the wrong guy. So we'll see what happens to Malachi Nelson. I'm looking forward. No, I hate this. Oh, he's not a competitor. He didn't want to stay. All this stuff. We mentioned this last time. He wants to play. His time is dwindling here, and he's going somewhere where he thinks he can play. But that does leave Boise State in a tough spot for this game. Max Cutforth or Colt Fulton are now one play away from playing in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, as long as you have Ashton Jeanty, I suppose you can just hand off to Ashton Jeanty and take care of business there. But that's going to be very, very, very interesting. Don't forget, maybe even Kentucky with Bush Hamden and reunite there in terms of that. Again, like you and UCF, I don't know what Kentucky's quarterback depth situation is. I thought about Malachi Nelson a lot this weekend, as we all did. And I go back to that story last year, guys, and think about this for a little bit. The story that we really celebrated. Remember, the way that Malachi Nelson and his father told this story several times on BNN, on Idaho Sports Talk, in general, a million times, getting on the phone and having that conversation with Spencer Danielson when this recruiting process started. And Malachi Nelson was so stinking inspired by that phone call from Spencer Danielson. He said right there during that phone call, "Yeah, coach, I'll be out there." And then he had to turn around and tell his dad, "Dad, I know we had a plan, but Spencer Danielson got me all fired up." Within the matter of like a 10 to 15-minute phone call, Malachi Nelson was so inspired by Spencer Danielson that he changed the entire family plan of how they were going to treat the offseason. I wonder if this time Malachi Nelson feels like I made a very emotional plan in about 24 hours last year and it didn't work out. So now I need a month to kind of settle down and be careful and more methodical and more practical about my decision and not get wrapped up in the emotions of one phone call with Spencer Danielson. That one phone call with Spencer Danielson last year changed Malachi Nelson's life forever, and it didn't work out. I would imagine he's going to have a different approach this offseason.
Yeah, so Boise State, again, in a little bit of a tough spot, though, for this game. You're right. I mean, yeah, Ashton Jeanty, but Max Cutforth, we did see in fall camp, he got some second-team reps, and I remember even seeing him getting a few first-team reps in fall camp, so I'm sure he'll get plenty of reps with the first team, especially a week like this week, where there's 3 practices, and they don't know who they're playing yet. They're going to have a couple weeks here to get Max Cutforth and Colt Fulton ready just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. So as long as Maddox Madsen stays healthy, I think we're going to be just fine.
Other than that, Mike Prater, I mean, just waiting to see Saturday. I mean, what's kind of the topic this week on Idaho Sports Talk and just moving forward? A basketball game tomorrow against Texas Southern. I'll discuss that a little more here in a minute, but just kind of a weird kind of, as you said, it's crazy getting ready for a game this week, but kind of just this weird in limbo week. I cannot wait for the playoff games. Friday night, I heard snows in the forecast in South Bend. That could be amazing. 3 games all day Saturday, and it is going to be surreal watching that Penn State SMU game, knowing that they're fighting for the chance to play Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. But it's going to be a fun weekend, but just kind of this interesting week here, kind of waiting to see who they're going to play.
So much fun this past 4 days. We had so much fun. Fans, not fans, you, me, everybody. We had so much fun watching Ashton Jeanty do non-football type stuff these last 3 or 4 days, and I'm excited to get back into football mode. I can't wait to go to a practice, get some press conferences going, get back into game mode. It's going to be so exciting and so surreal. And that 10 a.m. kickoff on Saturday morning, Penn State, SMU, for the right to play Boise State in a Fiesta Bowl. When you say that, BJ, it just it's mind-blowing to me, but that's the area we live in right now, and it's very cool that Boise State's a part of. Can you imagine right now if Boise State was like getting ready to play next Wednesday, I think, in the LA Bowl or whatever the hell it is anymore?
Saturday. It's coming up at some point. Yeah, maybe they did switch the day because of the playoff games, but yeah, it's pretty soon.
I think it's a weekday. I'm not even, maybe it's even this week. I don't know. And I don't care. That's my point. I don't want to be involved in that. Boise State, the Heisman, the CFP, so many cool things are going on right now, guys. The month of December 2024 is going to be one of the most historic runs in the history of Boise State football. I think we're just kind of getting started. I cannot wait to keep it going. Cannot wait for Saturday. Cannot wait for next week. Cannot wait for the Fiesta Bowl. It's a pretty cool time right now to be a Boise State football fan.
Well, we're going to talk to Andy Rowe in a second. I'm going to talk a little basketball and keep this thing going, but I know you got a show to get ready for, Mike. We appreciate you and Johnny, 3 to 6 today. You'll be all over the Heisman and everything else going on, and the win over St. Mary's. I'm sure Bob will have some thoughts on that. So appreciate you for joining us, and your column, why your Heisman vote, is available online. If folks want to go read that, BroncoNationNews.com. You revealed your Heisman vote, and that is online for folks to go read as well. Hope they will, and appreciate you as always, sir.
BJ, fantastic work this past weekend. I saw so much of it and appreciated everything you do physically, emotionally, financially. That's a tough road trip. I had to send Chad back in the day back to cover at Kellen Moore, and that's a grind, and it's expensive, and it's not always easy, and only a couple of people were able to make it. I was really proud that you and Jay were able to do that this weekend. Great job, BJ. It was really cool to see you guys up on that stage. You deserve that. You earned it, and let's get back to work, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. All I could think about it, 12:30 a.m. when we're still 30 minutes from landing in Boise, and I'm tired. And when at 2:21, when I finally got in bed, the only thing I could think of was, in 5 hours, I get to talk to Mike Prater.
Let's keep it going, brother. Let's keep it going.
Appreciate you, sir. There he is, Mike Prater. Appreciate him for coming on. Hey, Jackson's is coming on board as a sponsor for next year. They're sticking on board. We appreciate Jackson's. In January and February, you get a hot dog and a soda for $2 at Jackson's. So make sure you get ready for that. January and February, $2 hot dog and soda at Jackson's, courtesy of our friends at Jackson's. And don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog sold goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. So they're making a big donation, I think almost $100,000 from the hot dog sales from 2024. So it goes a long way. So next time you're needing a snack or a drink or some gas, make sure you head over and check out our friends at Jackson. Speaking of food, leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. We love Lean Feast. My wife and I have been eating it almost exclusively, and It's Lean Feast, and it's the Cantina Bowls at Taco Bell in the Reigns household. So we're eating healthy and dropping some pounds, and we appreciate all you guys that are supporting the sponsors. And I would highly recommend Lean Feast. It's just so easy to use. I love that you can order online from anywhere in the Treasure Valley. They'll deliver it to you, and you get 5 days in the refrigerator. You order it on a Sunday or Monday. You got your lunches for the whole week, and it's fully customizable. You pick how much of each item you want, all different diets, and it is feeding the football team and feeding the basketball team. So check out the folks at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. I want to throw in one more plug for our event before we get to Andy Rowe. If you're coming down to the Fiesta Bowl, join us. We cannot wait for this. Monday, December 30th. I'm going to update the graphic with more info when I put it on social media. The Bronco Nation Stakes. How about this? Turf Paradise Racetrack in Phoenix. For the first time ever in thoroughbred racing, the horses will be running on a different colored surface in honor of Boise State. That's right. They are painting the turf blue for the Bronco Nation Stakes. It is going to be awesome. It's 10 races, culminating with 3 big National Thoroughbred League championship races, including the Bronco Nation Stakes, a beer garden complete with great food and drink, betting station, and Boise's favorite DJ. Plus, you can meet and greet NFL players, some former Boise State legends. They already have Austin Pettis and Shea McClellan confirmed. Alex Guerrero is working on some other guys. There's going to be a mascot race with Buster, I believe, the cheerleaders, the marching bands, and it's going to be really cool. And there's a VIP option as well, which includes tables, VIP parking, a red carpet entrance, a Mexican feast, drinks, and private hobnobbing with a lot of the celebrities, including Dr. J is going to be in the house. So really excited about this, and I hope you guys will join us. BNN's going to be there, former players. If you're looking for something to do the day before the game, I mean, what's better than hanging out at the horse tracks and betting on some horses and having a good time and doing it with Boise State fans and former players, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're really looking forward to this. Hopefully you will join us. This is, I think, at 1 o'clock. It's in the afternoon. We'll get more details, but I put the link in the chat for tickets. Email me if you're interested as well, but scroll up in the chat. I put the link in there. I'll post it again here while we're talking, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for this. Horse racing, what could be better than that? Then you throw in the fact that you get to hang out with a lot of different Boise State, fans and everything. It's going to be really cool. So looking forward to this. And somebody said Dr. J. Yes, Dr. J is one of the investors in this league, and he is going to be there at the event on the Monday, the day before the game. So looking forward to that. All right, we are excited as always. It's a Monday, and that means Mike Prater, but it also means we get to chat with our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. Andy, we appreciate you as always, man. It was second place in the Heisman, big win for the basketball team. It was a overall, I would say a positive weekend. Ashton Jeanty did a great job on the national stage, kind of showing off Boise State. And I know you and others wished he would have won, but it was a still cool experience for him. Then the basketball team got a big win. It was a good weekend for Boise State.
Yeah, great to hear the basketball team getting that win out in Eastern Idaho. Obviously spreading the brand. Not that they're, not fans, but for them to get a chance to see, the game in person. Eastern Idaho is growing fast. That's an area that we've started to bid and do more and more work in over in Eastern Idaho. So we're happy to see the growth of Bronco Nation over there as well.
What'd you make of the Heisman? I know all the Deion Sanders hype and all that. We all kind of felt going in it was probably going to be too much to overcome. That ended up being the case, but the voting was the closest it's been since 2009. Ashton Jeanty was actually on more ballots than Travis Hunter. Ashton Jeanty won the fan vote. One vote goes in the pot was from fans. The official fan vote, Ashton Jeanty won that as well. So as he said, he got a lot of love, just maybe not from all the right people when it was all said and done in terms of who was voting for who, but he put up a heck of a fight, and it was a close voting there.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to mirror what Prater said. You and Jay did a great job covering that. I know it was a lot of work, and it might seem glamorous, but those are some long flights, and of course, you love what you do. But you guys did a great job bringing us, all the behind the scenes stuff and videos and clips and following along. So enjoyed watching the coverage of it.
Thank you.
The actual event. I hurt. I was really hurting on this, and I knew what was coming. I knew Travis was going to get it, and I was trying to find out, why do I feel this so deeply? And I think the answer for me, as it probably is for a lot of Bronco Nation, is hurt for Ashton because he earned it and he deserved it. And I don't care what media member, what person on Twitter has to say, like, I watched the clips. Travis Hunter is a good athlete. He plays a lot of football, and he's a good athlete. There's no doubt about that. But, I've tried to really remove myself from my Bronco fandom and look at this, as someone who just enjoys sports. I still don't see it. I don't know how you take that person and you put Travis ahead of the season that Ashton's had. I've heard all the arguments, both directions. So the disappointment, I think, is twofold. One, it is obviously in Boise, we're about the team, but Ashton deserved this. He earned it. And I think the second one is just the disappointment in the power that the big media has to be able to sway voters. I absolutely believe that the whole Deion story in Colorado, since he got there, has been this huge media story. Travis was the darling this season. He got all the love. He got all the hype. And so I'm sorry, but I believe that significantly influenced it. You see how close it was. You realize how close Ashton was to taking that hardware home. Now, obviously, he got some great, the Doak Walker, the Maxwell. Those are huge awards, not to take away from those. And not to make it all about Bronco Nation, because this is an individual award. This was about Ashton. Ashton, he did get robbed 100%. You'll never convince me otherwise. I've had a lot of conversations with people that aren't Boise State fans about Travis Hunter, and not once has anyone brought up a point that I felt like was a strong point of why he should have won.
People agreeing with you. Media bias was strong. And then you see, the way the seating arrangement was set too. There he was right down there in the whole Deion Sanders and Lil Wayne, all them right in the front row. It was just, the whole thing was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. And, at the end of the day, you have the hangover from the loss. That's what it felt like. It felt like we lost a football game. And I think that's the special thing about Boise. And I think, speaking from my direct experience, why I sponsor Boise State athletics is we're different. We're not like, the other big schools that are out there. We're scrappier. We're a different community. And I love that about us, And so, it hurt. When one of us hurts, we all hurt. And I think, over the weekend, I had a chance to go back and rewatch the Oregon game. I wanted to see how we performed with different set of eyes. I was in person there and I hadn't watched the telecast. I was really impressed with how we performed, and I think about that team and how far he's come this season. I think about what he's done out there against Oregon, against every school that he's faced, the numbers that he's put up, and he deserved it, man. I don't know. I don't think you'll ever convince me otherwise, but such is life. And I know some of my greatest accomplishments personally have come from my greatest losses personally. And so I think sometimes when we feel like we're wronged, just like that shirt, right? Please count us out. Wait until we see Ashton run in the postseason. I am very excited to see what happens. And he has so much ahead of him. You can look at a long list of Heisman busts that never did anything at the next level. So I think that what he's going to take away from this, because the type of person he is, he's going to grind harder. He's going to be more disciplined. And that's the thing. That's Boise State. It's that chip on your shoulder. It's that scrappiness. And so, of course, our guy who should have gotten the Heisman comes in second. It just made me happy we're not voting on who the national champion is anymore. We actually get to play it out on the field, Back in the day, before the BCS, it was a vote. And then the BCS, it was still kind of a vote for those two teams, So he actually, gets to go out and play. But I also thought that personal interactions between Travis and Ashton, I don't know, man. I read people. And I definitely got the feeling from Travis, just kind of that popular kid, cocky kid. Like, it's cute that you're here, Ashton. I'm taking the trophy home. And you can just see some moments where Ashton was looking at him with that determined look. And so those two different mindsets are going to play out very differently at the next level.
I don't think he's chasing 131 yards in Barry Sanders' record. The number I think he's chasing is 214. That was how many points he was behind Travis Hunter in the voting. And wouldn't that be something if he goes for 214 exactly or over 214 and they win that game against Penn State? What do you make of that game Saturday? SMU, Penn State, going to be kind of weird as a Boise State fan to be sitting around and letting those two teams battle it out and then see who you get to play, huh?
Yeah, now we get to get excited about football, right? This is the best time of the year. You got, the bowl season, you've got the playoffs, everything's coming up. It's going to be a huge game watching Saturday. I don't know when the Colorado BYU game is, but I've never truly rooted for BYU, but I am a huge Cougars fan in the postseason. So they will get my full support in that game. But for the game for Boise State, getting a chance to scout who we're going to play, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, the teams, the coaches are going to be watching it. They're hungry to know who they're going to play. So it's very exciting. And the fact that we're watching the first opening round of the postseason from our couches, that's pretty exciting too.
No doubt about it. Hey, Andy, we were able to renew rowpaint.com for another year as the title sponsor of Bronco Nation News. I said it last week when we got it done, but just want to publicly say thank you. I hope everybody that's watching this, the 758 people right now, know that there would not be a Bronco Nation News without this man right here, rowpaint.com. And you were one of the ones, even with the financial commitment to push me over the top, but just as a friend too, saying like when I first told you I was thinking about doing Bronco Nation News, you were one of the first ones that said you liked the idea and you told me to go for it. And like I said, I remember I was standing outside of a Chinese buffet that no longer even exists, even though it seems like yesterday when we had the conversation and you committed to being our title sponsor for a year, and now we're finishing up I guess 3 years and going on year 4 now, I think it'll be, or year 3. I don't know it's crazy where the time has gone, and appreciate you for your support and believing in what we're doing and wanting to stay on board for another year, sir.
Absolutely. It was always an easy, I won't even call it a gamble. It was always an easy business decision to invest in you. I saw your skill and talent when it came to the written word. I didn't know what you were going to do with all this video. It's amazing how big BNN is on the video stage these days, but you had a lot of vision with that, and I knew you'd take it somewhere special. And and I believe in Boise State as well. So it was an easy decision, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Appreciate you keeping me on and continuing to get to work together.
Well, we appreciate you, but folks, you got to make this guy's investment pay off here. All your painting projects, whether it's interior or exterior painting, those concrete coatings, whether it's for your basement, your garage, your back patio. I know the weather could play a factor in some of those locations, but all the different painting options they have. I'm telling you, don't ruin your clothes. Don't ruin your floor thinking you can do it yourself to try to save a buck. Let the professionals do it for you. Rowpaint.com. And I know, Andy, you got a lot of things going on right now for the holidays, and you're already scheduling for the spring. And I know it's a good time if folks are looking to jump in with a painting project.
Yep, they need anything, give us a call. My production manager literally just told me we had a paint crew available New Year's week and a floor crew available the first week of January. So if you mention either of those two options and you say that you heard it directly from Andy Rowe on BNN, they'll probably set you up with a really sweet deal, fill that hole there for that crew, and it'll make a difference for that crew too. So thank you. Appreciate BNN's support of all that we do.
There you go. Rowpaint.com. Again, all your painting projects. Support the sponsors, folks, and no one bigger than our title sponsor, Andy Rowe. And if I think there's momentum behind the scenes, Andy Rowe, whether it's you, Travis Hawks, Matt Bauscher, we got to get this sponsor show going because you guys all have just such great takes when it comes to Boise State. So I think we need to make that happen, whether it's a monthly show or bi-weekly or what. But you always give great takes. And sometimes you put the sponsors on just to appease them and keep them happy, whatever. No, we put you on because you have good sports takes and people enjoy when you come on every week. And it's been fun adding you to the show here and see, we'll continue to do that moving forward. But we appreciate you, sir. And I hope you have a good week. And I guess next week we'll know who Boise State's playing and can get ready for that. It's going to be fun.
Always appreciate coming on. Thanks for having me, BJ. Go Broncos.
Appreciate it. There he is, Andy Rowe, our title sponsor. And again, folks, support the sponsors, including Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. All your painting projects, support Andy Rowe and our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. How about the men's basketball team? Everybody was focused on the Heisman, and it was hard to get. It was hard to find. I had to watch it on broncosports.com/watch. I know a lot of you were trying to find it, but kudos to Leon Rice and company for getting it done against St. Mary's. Just a massive win for the Boise State men's basketball team. They needed it big time. They got it, and the Broncos take down St. Mary's, and they get a big time win. That the Boston College one stinks. There's no way about it. It's an ugly loss. It's bad. It's not going to look good on the resume. But if you can outweigh that with good wins, you're still going to be in an okay spot. And Boise State now has 2 quad 1 wins in the non-conference. To go 8-3 in non-conference and to have wins over Clemson and St. Mary's, like that's not the worst spot to be in. So I know the Boston College loss, not ideal. The Washington State game, they didn't play good. I mean, that San Francisco loss, that's a quad 1 game. So the folks that were freaking out about the San Francisco loss, that's not a bad loss at all. But if you found it, the Boise State, it went to overtime. They were down. They tied it up. They got a block at the end of regulation to send it to overtime. And then Boise State.
Marshallonis with 3. Agosis with 2 for the tie. No! Boise State hangs on. A signature win in an instant classic in Idaho Falls.
Again, this was on broncosports.com/watch. This is me on my cell phone recording this to post it, so I apologize for the shaky video. But 5 seconds left. Boise State up by 2, and the St. Mary's shot at the buzzer misses, and Boise State hangs on. One more look.
With 3, Augustus with 2 for the tie. No! Boise State hangs on. A signature win in an instant classic in Idaho Falls.
Big win for Boise State. Somebody in the comments here, the Mount says, I was there. It was awesome. Yeah, sounded like in the first half, maybe the crowd wasn't super loud, but they got into it later in the game. And that's a big time quad one win for Boise State. And they'll host Texas Southern tomorrow night. So we're getting ready to head down and talk to Leon Rice and talk to RJ Keene, I believe. And that they are going to host Texas Southern tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So it feels like a good time to come out to the basketball game tomorrow night at 7. And then they start Mountain West play. Mountain West play starts on Saturday, pre-Christmas Mountain West game. They will host Air Force Saturday afternoon. So right after you see who wins that game, SMU or Penn State, come on down. I believe it's a 2 o'clock start on Saturday against Air Force to start conference play. But first, they got Texas Southern tomorrow night. So appreciate all you guys for checking out all of our coverage in New York. If you're able to help us out, we would love to have your subscription. $50. You see the info at the bottom, that promo code BNN50 deal. If you can sign up and subscribe, we'd love to have you. BNN50 deal. You get all Mike Prater's columns, my columns. We got a story going up today on Maddox Madsen from Nathan Carroll, looking at some of his numbers with the decision for Malachi Nelson to enter the transfer portal. So all kinds of coverage, daily email, great stuff, and it's only $50. So we would appreciate it if you can help us out for we need 4 or 5 or 6 of you just to help cover the Uber costs, man. It's crazy in New York getting from the airport down to Times Square. But appreciate all of you that did subscribe. We've seen a nice uptick the last couple weeks, and we appreciate all you guys that are helping us out, making this coverage possible. And we're rolling 3 deep to the Fiesta Bowl. So we'll have Mike Stanford down there doing pre and post and stuff, and Jaden Finch will be down there, our behind the scenes extraordinaire, helping get us on and off the air and getting a lot of footage and things. So we're going to have 3 people at the Fiesta Bowl and try to give you awesome, unprecedented coverage there. We just got back from the couple days of coverage at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and you couldn't there was KTVB and there was us. It's again, not trying to speak negatively on other outlets or whatever, but there was 2 outlets that decided to make the investment, KTVB and BNN, to go cover the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And we just hope you keep that in mind when you're thinking about subscriptions and dollars and things. We would love for you to support us here, what we're doing at BNN, so we can continue to cover events and things like that moving forward. We're going to have the NFL draft, I'm sure. We got the combine that we may have to look into. There's a lot of events happening in the future, but we'll be at every basketball game as well the rest of the way. We won't be able to go to the Wyoming road game. I'm really sad I'm missing Laramie again because that is the night of the Fiesta Bowl. But we'll be in San Jose on the 28th, and we'll be everywhere else covering this basketball team. We're the only outlet that travels on the road with the basketball team, other than obviously Bob Beeler and KTIK and him being on the broadcast call. But in terms of the independent outlets, we'll be there every step of the way, and we hope you'll recognize our coverage and find it worth it for a $50 subscription to BNN. So those of you that have already subscribed, truly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And I'm not sure why the Colorado fans continue to infiltrate the chat. You won. Travis Hunter won. Congrats. But we can move on at this point. So congrats to Travis Hunter. But I don't know why Colorado fans still find it necessary to come hang out in the chat here. So go buy those tickets for the horse racing event. It's going to be so much fun. I hope to see a lot of you guys there. Would love to hang out and meet you guys. We're going to do a couple raffles and giveaways and things. We'll have some Fiesta Bowl merchandise we'll be giving away. So if you want to if you're looking for something to do the day before the game, come hang out with us. We're really excited about this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, it is at Turf Paradise Racetrack in Phoenix. Turf Paradise Racetrack in Phoenix. I put the link in the chat. I'll put it on social media, but we'll be telling you more about it. But former BSU players mingling, hanging out, having a couple drinks, betting on the horses, going to be a lot of fun. And they are painting that so you can be a part of history, because the Bronco Nation Stakes is going to be a blue turf for the race. The first time ever they're doing it on a non-green playing surface. So it's going to be pretty cool for that horse race to be on blue turf. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. hope to see you there at that point. But thanks again. Go subscribe if you can. Like our video on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube at a minimum if you can't afford a subscription. You just watch an hour and 10-minute free show on YouTube. So if you can give us a subscription to our YouTube channel, if you can give us a like on this video, we would really appreciate that. And we're going to head down and talk to Leon Rice and RJ Keene. We'll get that posted this afternoon. We got the Maddox Madsen story going up this afternoon. And then Jay Tust and I tomorrow at 9 a.m. we'll have get you ready for the basketball game and keep talking football as well. So thank you guys. Been a fun couple days and was only got about 5 hours of sleep, but happy to be back in Boise and ready for what's ahead this week as we get set to find out Saturday who Boise State's going to play. And I just cannot wait to sit back and watch college football playoff opening round games this weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun, and appreciate all you guys for your comments and all of your messages and kind words and things. It's been a lot of fun to bring you guys the coverage from New York. That was cool, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So thanks again. Couldn't do it without you. Go subscribe. BNN 50 deal, $50 1-year subscription. Tell your friends, share, like this video, and we will talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News live from the Western Collective Studios, courtesy of our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. This is BJ Rains, BroncoNationNews.com.